try it first.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics. And our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to J.D. Power. #1 in reliability 16 times in a row. Most awarded for network quality 27 times in a row. Proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network.
If you think you know what happens next, ask yourself why. These are the black stories we've been shown. A narrow view that limits our understanding. But there's so much more to see. Of black life. Let's widen the screen so we can widen our view.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Craig, and I am your host for the first EBONY Block Party. So the EBONY Block Party is a celebration of Black-owned businesses and where we find out how you party on your block. So we traveled to 4 different markets to see how they partied on their block. We are celebrating Black businesses and had a few surprise performances added to the mix. The EBONY Block Party was presented by Verizon and supported by P&G and Coca Cola. Special thanks to the young Black leaders in the St. Augustine Band for kicking off the show with their awesome performance. Music is so important in the city of New Orleans, so we had to kick it off with the band. For this week's episode, we traveled to the Big Easy, New Orleans, Louisiana, known for its round-the-clock nightlife, vibrant live music, scene and spicy singular cuisines reflecting its history, and a melting pot of French, African, and American cultures. New Orleans definitely didn't disappoint. We sat down with the young serial entrepreneur, Larry Morrow, who is the owner of the New Orleans trendy and popular restaurant, Morrow's, owned by him and his mom, along with their new hotspot treehouse. Let's take a look.
I'm Larry Morrow. I'm an entrepreneur and owner of Morrow's, Treehouse, Larry Morrow Properties, and Larry Morrow Events. I got my start pretty much with Larry Morrow Events, where I started to produce smaller events, but then it transformed into something much bigger, which provided me with a way to acquire other businesses like Morrow's, which my mom is my partner. She's also a chef, to produce more events and acquire real estate in the process, to now, owning Treehouse, which is probably one of the hottest bars, lounges in the state of Louisiana. I got started in business as an entrepreneur when I was maybe 18, 17 years old. I was just always that kid in class just trying to figure out, what I was going to do. I got tired of working at McDonald's or working at the shoe store or even working at Chuck E. Cheese. So I was always just trying to figure out how could I create some income for myself. So I started a clothing line when I was 17. It was called Chump Change Clothing. And it was a brand that, a lot of people in the city started to wear, and it became very popular. But I did a party for that particular company one day when I was maybe 18. And that party was so big that I really decided to start producing events. So when I produced my next event, I think I turned 20 years old, it was huge. It was a huge success. So from that moment forward, that's when Larry Morrow Events was created. I started to just dive into the event game much deeper, and that's when I found my niche for just building relationships. Morrow's is also a restaurant that I own, and I started that business with my mother. My mother, she's a chef. She's been a chef for, many years, and she's great at what she does. And I think that overall collaboration between myself and my mother, her providing a great experience in the kitchen and me providing an experience on the front of the house, was the perfect concoction that created something so beautiful. So when you come to Morrow's, you can expect a great vibe and great food, and overall great experience. So that partnership was definitely key to the success of Morrow's. We've been open 3 years, and we've had everyone from Drake to, I had Patti LaBelle call my phone one day and say, "Larry, your mama's macaroni is better than mine." And it's just beautiful to see how so many people come from all over the world, come to Morrow's and just indulge in the food and love it. I wanted to open up my own space. So when we opened up Treehouse 2 months ago, it's been a huge success, and we've been able to really do extremely well, and overall just have our own space where we can produce our own events. When Treehouse opened up in June of 2021, it was a huge success. Since the doors opened up, we have so many people come and even take pictures in front of our famous Tree of Life painting, which is a picture of Jay-Z. But we actually sold that piece to Jay-Z. He's acquired it for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's become this landmark within the city so fast to where people want to come and take pictures in front of the sign and just overall enjoy the experience. So I think, between Morrow's and Treehouse, you get an overall experience in New Orleans that you could not get before. One of the things I love the most about being in the city of New Orleans is the food, the culture, the people. I've traveled all over, and I've experienced people from all over, and I think one thing about New Orleans, and which has helped me become who I am, is just the hospitality. I'm very hospitable, and I think you get that Southern love and that Southern comfort when you're down here in New Orleans, and you get the cultures, the second lines, the seafood. How do I widen the screen as a black entrepreneur, as a black man in the community? Constantly just striving to be an example in the community is important. Providing jobs and opening up different businesses to show people within the city of New Orleans that, this can happen. My favorite Ebony moment is just, growing up and always seeing strong black women on the front cover of the magazine. Something that, before social media, you will always see these magazines with pictures of, strong black women. And I think that's important, how they emphasize, our culture and our people.
NOLA is immersed with art. In fact, the city itself could be studied in the evolution of art. With its street murals and colorful architecture, we stopped by Studio B, which is an amazing exhibit with art installations by owner and visual artist B. Mike Odom.
Peace, my name is Brandon B. Mike Odoms. I'm the creator of Studio B. We are located in New Orleans, and Studio B is a 35,000 square foot warehouse of art. It's a cultural space, education space. We try to do a lot with what we have. So Studio B comes from a trajectory of art projects that was happening in the city of New Orleans. I was using art to transform spaces, a lot of spaces that were damaged post-Katrina. And the journey from a project called Project B to a project called Exhibit B into this empty warehouse, we thought it was fitting that this space sort of could encapsulate all the energy that we learned from those outdoor projects into this interior space to make it a warehouse of art. So growing up in New Orleans, art is all around us. So as a young person, I was always fascinated with art. I was always a creative individual. And as I got older, I began to understand the power and responsibility of art. And I wanted to use that in a way to make my community a better space. One of those things as the journey kept growing and expanding was the idea of the sustainability of being an artist. And that's where sort of the entrepreneur hat came on. And through that lens that we created Studio B. So it's this background and understanding and appreciation of art mixed with that responsibility, mixed with the idea of sustaining it. And that's how Studio B came to be. So growing up in New Orleans, it's a city that's full of art, that's full of creativity, that's full of culture. I mean, it's one of the oldest cities in this country, and with that age comes a history that is hard to escape. It's tangible everywhere we go, everywhere we look. So for me, being a person that's fascinated by history, fascinated by time, I feel like New Orleans informs my creativity, it informs my journey. It's something that I feel is one of the sources of my inspiration, because I understand that New Orleans has taught me that being an artist is more than just what you do for yourself, but it's how you impact your community. The way we create here is with a communal sense in mind. You know, we play music not just for the musician, but for the audience. We cook not just for the chef, but for the people who are gonna sit at the table. And so I learned a lot from those examples to the point where I create art with the idea of my New Orleans community in mind. So I feel like, I don't know if there's other spaces that could have taught me that lesson the way that New Orleans taught me that lesson. So one of my favorite Ebony moments is extremely visual. It's a memory of this old barbershop me and my brothers would go to. The barber had to been in his 80s, Mr. Perkins, and his barbershop was almost like a time capsule of items, of furniture, and specifically of magazines. And we would sit in his barbershop waiting forever for our time to get our hair cut, because he cut hair really slow. And I remember just diving through all these old Ebony magazines. It was just like a way to kind of receive history. When I think about Ebony magazine, I think of that moment. It was a moment where I was almost like going back in time through these physical magazines.
We can't say enough about Vyon's restaurant. Vyon's was born with the idea of bringing unique continental French fare to the warehouse district. Owner Vyon Teresa Segu is a French African Creole with 4 generations of family in New Orleans. The food is amazing and the service is impeccable. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Vyon Lewis. I'm the proprietor of Vyon's restaurant, and we are a casual fine French dining restaurant in the Warehouse District here in New Orleans, and we actually specialize in continental French cuisine. We like to serve people classic dishes from different areas of Provence and Canada. This project actually started off as a labor of love. I am a native New Orleanian, and this restaurant was actually an old abandoned building. And after Katrina, we lost a lot of our culture in New Orleans. So the purpose of this project was to bring back our French culture. And we took this beautiful historic building that was actually the courtyard rampant with dirt and rat burrows, and we transformed it into a beautiful French restaurant. I have always been an entrepreneur at heart. I have an opportunity to own many businesses. I'm actually a doctor by training, but a lot of my businesses are around development projects that are designed to refurbish and bring back my community here in New Orleans. I love everything about New Orleans. I'm a 4th generation New Orleanian. This is home. I've been very fortunate to travel many places, but there's no place like New Orleans. I love the people, I love the culture, I love the music, and I love everything that New Orleans embodies. The way I widen the view of how people see Black America is putting myself into opportunities that advantage to all of us. For example, I'm a Rotarian here in New Orleans, so I volunteer for a lot of services to low-income minority groups to give them opportunities for education, for businesses. I'm also a board member with the NOLA Angel Network here. I'm always bringing forth minority businesses that don't have funding opportunities. So I think everything I embody, even with this business, this was really an opportunity to show what we are as Black America, that we're not just what you see on TV, we're business people, we're entrepreneurs, and if given an education and opportunity, we can contribute just like any other group. I think always when people come to New Orleans, the one thing they think of is Bourbon Street, but we're so much more than Bourbon Street. I think my favorite Ebony moment is a moment I had with my mom, and that was when Denzel Washington was on the Ebony cover. She actually taught me a lot about him because he, for such a long time, was the face of Black people in film. And so she taught me about if he can be the face of that, then you can also be the face and a leader. And that actually was a moment that I began my journey of entrepreneurship and really helping to do community service and embracing what I could to bring people forward as I move forward.
We fell in love with Baldwin Company. Baldwin Company is an independent bookstore and coffee shop located in New Orleans, Louisiana. And it's truly more than a bookstore. Like, it's in a celebration of a growth mindset. Like, Baldwin Company also stocks numerous regional titles as well as cards, journals, and gifts. Baldwin Company also hosts events with local and visiting authors. Now, how cool is that? DJ Johnson, the owner of Baldwin Company Coffee and Bookstore, talks about his journey to becoming a business owner in this lifelong New Orleans neighborhood, transforming the old Jean's Po' Boy pink building into a locally owned coffee shop and bookstore. Let's take a look.
My name is DJ Johnson, and I am the owner of Baldwin Co. Bookstore and Coffee Shop. I'm in the business of promoting educational enrichment, enlightenment, and imagination throughout the community. How I got started opening Baldwin Co. was my mother fell really sick, and I decided to relocate from Atlanta back to New Orleans, to my hometown, and coming back to the community where I grew up from. One of the things that I thought would be a very cool addition to the community would be a community hub, a space that promoted a growth mindset and give access to individuals to engage in enlightenment, interpersonal communication, and a growth mindset. What I love most about New Orleans is our culture. I think we have some of the richest culture in the United States. It's an inland island. It's all about food, family, fun, festivals. It's one of the most unique places you can visit. It's away from the rat race. The things that we value most are the things that makes life beautiful. The one thing people absolutely must do when they come to New Orleans is visit Baldwin Co. There's not a lot of spaces in New Orleans that you come to that promotes the creative imagination, thought of enlightenment and education. And Baldwin Co. is that special place to where as soon as you walk in, you feel like the best version of yourself. So you absolutely have to visit Baldwin Company whenever you come to New Orleans. Two of my favorite Ebony moments was one, just understanding and knowing the story of John Johnson and how John Johnson initially applied for a loan to develop Ebony Magazine and Jet Magazine and Johnson's publishing house, and he was denied because of his skin color, and how he found creative ways of pawning his mother's furniture to acquire enough money in order to establish Johnson's Publishing and establish Ebony Magazine and Jet Magazine. That's the story alone is one of my favorite stories just of all Black entrepreneurship. It's that I'll find a way or make a way regardless of the obstacles that are set in front of me. The second one was in a September issue of Ebony Magazine. They highlighted James Baldwin and they raised the question, is James Baldwin America's most important author. And I thought just raising the question is a lot. It's like putting Kobe Bryant in a conversation with LeBron, and putting LeBron in a conversation with Jordan. Just being in that conversation of being one of America's greatest writers is a huge honor. James Baldwin is a huge influencer in my life. He's one of my favorite authors. So just to see him being recognized in that conversation as being one of America's greatest writers was big for me.
New Orleans is a city filled with culture and history. So we stopped by the Second Lines Tour, a Black-owned tour company that provides customers with a culture tour. The culture tour specifically speaks to the Black experience in New Orleans. That's us. Second Line Tour's Urban Culture Tour, you will experience historic locations that contain such events including Creole history, Plessy versus Ferguson, Solomon Northrop, hurricane aftermath areas, and has a unique stops such as places of voodoo history, historic cemeteries, second lines, Mardi Gras Indians, and many more. It is a definite must to do when visiting NOLA.
All right, my name is Dennis Morgan. I'm the owner of Second Line Tours, one of the only premier African-American full-service tour companies in New Orleans. And we offer 3 types of tours. We have a celebrity tour, we have a culture tour, and we have a spirit and spirit tour. When I got into business, I started doing tours. It was more like a general tour, and I wanted to emphasize on the culture of New Orleans. And that's the reason why people come here, because of the African-American culture. When I take you on one of my tours, we go into neighborhoods like Treme, and we learn about Treme as being the oldest African-American neighborhoods in America. We also go to Congo Square. Congo Square is the birthplace of jazz. And then we make our way to the lower 9th Ward, and we get a chance to see firsthand where the devastation happened with Hurricane Katrina. We also go in a neighborhood and we learn about the Black Mardi Gras Indians in New Orleans. We learn about the second line culture, which is very important to New Orleans culture. The second line, it derives from like a celebration of life. Yeah, the Indian culture, it kind of derived when the first slaves hit New Orleans, especially the Mandingo. They didn't make good slaves. A lot of them ran out in the swamps and lived with the Indians, and the Indians kind of camouflaged them. So if a slave master would come looking for them, they would blend in with the Indians. And we have also Big Chief Beautiful as part of the Second Line Tours experience also. Big Chief Beautiful, he's the big chief of the beautiful Apache. He kind of like tell you the history of how he started. He talk about like his spy boy and flag boy. He give you the history of what they do. At one time, life was about the Mississippi River. Life was the river, that was the interstate. They had plantations that stretched from New Orleans all the way to Baton Rouge. When cotton was king, sugarcane was queen. That was the crop down here in New Orleans. We also have a tour that goes up and down the Mississippi River to the Whitney Plantation, and kind of give you an insight and give you a chance to see all the neighborhoods, all the different plantations along the Mississippi River. We get a chance to go to museums like the Lower 9th Ward Museum, and we learn about the culture by 3 young ladies being the first ones to enter race schools over in the Lower 9th Ward. We also learn about the Creole culture. We learn about Plessy versus Ferguson on the tour, which was the birthplace of Jim Crow, unfortunately, and things of that nature. I've been in business for 5 years, but I've been doing tours for 7. And I wanted to talk more about the Black culture, and that's where Second Line Tours derived from. I want to talk more about the Black experience in New Orleans. And we talk about that. We talk about like foods like Kingaboo. Kingaboo comes from West Africa. Today we know it as gumbo. We talk about voodoo. We kill the myth that voodoo was being evil. And like I mentioned, we talk about the Indians, the birthplace of jazz. But what I love about being in New Orleans, I love the culture. I love the food, I love the people. I love how we celebrate life, things of that nature. I love how we have a sense of coming together when we need to. I widen the screen by showing the full culture of New Orleans, not minimizing it. But my favorite Ebony moment, as growing up, my family always had that Ebony book on the nightstand. I learned a lot about Black culture. That was the beginning of me wanting to know about Black culture, reading magazines like Ebony. So it always been part of our family in New Orleans.
Finally, we circled back to Baldwin Company and hung out with DJ Jess and had a very special performance by the Queen of Bounce, Big Freedia.
We got a little number for y'all. That was a little free warm-up. You heard me. Let's go, DJ.
Tell me about a bad time. You platinum.
Oh.
Come on. You platinum. Oh, watch out. I'ma tell you what it's all about. I told you, you platinum. Don't tell me about a bad time. I've been guessing and I've never seen a red line.
Ooh, come on.
Don't tell me about a bad time. Ooh, I'm platinum. What it is? You got shoes, go and glide. You got a roof,
Set it on fire.
you got moves, busted wide. Don't tell me about a bad time. I'm like, ha ha, give me your polish, shining like a ring on my pinky and flawless. Like, ha ha, give me your polish, shining like a ring on my. Come on, ha ha, give me your polish, shining like a ring, like a. Come on, give me your polish. What it is? Come on, you platinum. I got my drink, say you know I'm about to act up. I'm platinum. I see a bad thing and I'm about to back up. What it is? Always dope. I ain't finna rock whatever carry go. I'm platinum. Blinding with the shine, blinding with the shine. Blinding with the shine, blinding with the shine. Blinding with the shine, blinding with the shine. I'm platinum. Hit the catwalk like it's in a Vogue. Hit the dance floor like what it is. Hit the sipping on that portion. All the bodies moving like an ocean. You got shoes, go and glide. You got a roof, set it on fire. You got moves, bust it wide. Don't tell me about a bad time. I'm like, ha ha, give me your polish, shining like a ring on my pinky and flawless. Like, ha ha, give me your polish, shining like a ring, like $1 million. Like, ha ha, give me your polish, shining like a ring on my pinky and flawless. Like, ha ha, give me your polish, shining like a ring, like $1 million. I'm platinum. I got a drink, say you know I'm about to act up. I'm platinum. I see a bad thing and I'm about to back up. What it is? Always dope. I ain't finna rock whatever carry go. I'm platinum. Blinding with the shine, blinding with the shine. Blinding with the shine, blinding with the shine. Blinding with the shine, blinding with the shine. I'm platinum. Blinding with the. Give me your polish, shining like a ring on my pinky and flawless. Like, ha ha, give me your polish, shining like a ring, like $1 million. Like, ha ha, give me your polish, shining like a ring on my pinky and flawless. Like, ha ha, give me your polish, shining like a ring, like $1 million. I see ya, come on, what it is? I'm platinum, and I'm about to back up. Ooh, always dope. I ain't finna rock whatever carry go. I'm platinum. You got the blinding with the shine, blinding with the shine, blinding with the shine, blinding with the shine, blinding with the shine. I'm platinum. Ooh, blinding with the shine, 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 blinding with the shine. I'm platinum. Like, all right.
New Orleans, let us know what we missed. Join the conversation and use the hashtag Ebony Block Party. A special thanks to the City of New Orleans and our partners who made it possible. The Ebony Block Party was presented by Verizon and supported by P&G and Coca Cola. Thank you to our participating businesses, Baldwin Company, Morrow's, Treehouse NOLA, Second Line Tours, Vyon's, Studio B, and the Queen of Bounce, Big Freedia. I'm Jonathan Craig. Join us next week on our next stop and last stop, New York City.
try it first.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics, and our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to J.D. Power. #1 in reliability 16 times in a row. Most awarded for network quality 27 times in a row. Proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network.
If you think you know what happens next, ask yourself why. These are the black stories we've been shown. A narrow view that limits our understanding. But there's so much more to see. Picture of black life. Let's widen the screen so we can widen our view.